Okay. Let's start that quest. New quest just dropped, everybody. New story quest. Alchemy Commission. Wow, let's head out. You can Xianzhou Luofu these nuts. Hey, it's tingyun. Oh, everyone looks dead here.
Whoa. Looks like the battle here was intense.
The Master Diviner must have launched the campaign while we were delayed in the Artisanship Commission.
Yeah, bro. Who's wrong leading a general army for everything else? Just the Diviner was the right time. Yeah, I mean.
Time is of the essence. The most important task for the Xianzhou Luofu is suppressing the Stellaron. General Tingyun tasked the Master Diviner with commanding the Cloud Knights. He would have known she'd act on the results of her divination.
Thank goodness the general didn't make us go with the knights. Fighting is totally different from adventuring. All these people. It's tough to bear.
Yeah, fighting a war is pretty different.
I'm afraid this is nothing, Benefactor. Centuries ago, an emanator of abundance besieged the Luofu with the aim of taking the Ambrosial Harbor. They destroyed half our delves and killed most of the Cloud Knights. For long-life species, such events are more like yesterday's memories than ancient history. This awful spectacle is child's play in comparison.
Hey, is that supposed to make us feel better?
Yeah, this is a war.
It's hard to tell if the Master Diviner won or lost here.
Well, she's not dead, so I would imagine. Let's play it safe as a draw. Looks like everyone. I don't know. The Ambrosial Harbor enemy seems like they can come back.
A draw? This isn't a tournament, you know. I can't see many Cloud Knights. The Xianzhou must have fought well.
Not necessarily. There'd usually be a base with supporting forces set up after a successful engagement, but we don't see any of that.
Yeah, there's no.
Let's look around and see if we can find
They
some
haven't set up
clues.
any backline. It's like they're campaigning on like a warpath.
Be careful. Those monsters are pretty tough.
Like a raid campaign. Where you just keep marching through and replenish your losses as
Look,
you go.
there's someone over there.
You good?
Here! There are still survivors here.
You're not the knights. What is your purpose here? It's dangerous.
The final war.
We're reinforcements sent by the General. Where's everyone else?
Resorting to short-lived species as reinforcements. Jingyuan is truly running out of options.
Run! She's a disciple of Sanctus Medicus!
Long.
Silence. If my healing worked, you'll become one of us. And then it's not just me they'll be running from.
He would work for you anyways, man.
Hurry! Leave here!
No, bro, they infected him.
I can't control myself anymore!
Oh my god. Xianzhou Luofu invented the coronavirus.
Target threat index lowered.
Look out!
Ouch.
Let me back! Head for this! Here I come!
Target threat index eliminating threat.
Walk like the one.
Want to see what I can do?
Oh,
See the doctor? What's in your prescription?
usually a single unit is fine to this stuff.
The lives of short-lived species are so fleetingly brief. Why seek death?
None of them are weak to chemical.
to protect everyone too. What's your turn?
That's annoying.
Take this! Rise, Venus! Wanna see what I can do? Dodge this!
Swap up.
Let me tend your wounds!
More dogs?
Follow hook if you wanna... You're the best! You can still surrender!
Annihilate. Mission command.
Do this.
Mission command.
I don't know what the hell was that?
Stay back, Clara.
Let me through!
Now we're gonna get massive
Are you alright?
sample.
Stay back, Clara.
Oh well.
Clara.
I want to protect everyone too. What's your turn?
More Hippocrates.
Need a doctor? Hiya! Here I come! I need to be brave.
What is that?
Hide.
Wanna see what I can do? You're not going anywhere!
Mission command.
What's in your prescription?
Shit.
Mission command.
Okay, we go. Race down the kill them. Nothing else.
Time for mischief! Let me through!
Oh, Shadow Crazy Summons just don't die. Stay.
Look out!
God, they got that cock.
Stay back, Clara.
Annoying shit.
Thanks! I'll never forget you! Wanna see what I can do? Here I come!
Eliminating threat.
Let me tend your wounds! Thanks! I'll never forget you! Let me through here, not going anywhere!
Close, let's not die, I guess. Jesus.
What's in your prescription?
Oh, I wish Ardos did that. Fucking Ardos did that.
Why did you come to the Xianzhou? To seek immortality? You don't have to appease Jingyuan. The disciples of Sanctus Medicus can provide all that you desire.
Need a doctor? Hiya!
Oh, I was expecting the first fight to be a massive pain in the ass.
Follow hook if you want...
Mission command. Target threat index lowered. Hide. Are you alright? Mission command.
No more playing nice. You're not going anywhere.
Stay back, Clara.
Let me tend your wounds.
I don't know if returning fire.
Target threat index lowered.
Look out! You bully! Take this! Rise, Venus! Dodge this!
Now we're taking this much damage from this many units.
You can still surrender! Here I come!
Okay. Those are gonna be a pain in the ass. I'm gonna need a quantum unit.
Hold on. We'll find someone to help.
He's Marshall. You have to kill him.
Don't waste your time. They've converted me. I don't have much longer. Go! The Master Diviner's troops are ahead.
Let's go.
Damn, bro, he got turned into a flower.
The disciples of Sanctus Medicus were in hiding for so long. Now they finally show their face. Did the Master Diviner fail to foresee this? Be careful, benefactors. The disciples of Sanctus Medicus worship Yaoshut, the Plague's author, the greatest enemy of the Xianzhou. The Alliance has been trying to root out their secret organization for millennia. It's no coincidence that they've chosen this moment to reveal themselves.
Well, imagine their gods basically coming back to life.
Oh, Rainbow's blessing. You're not disciples of Sanctus Medicus.
Stop moving around.
Actually,
Let's see if there's a way to help you recover faster.
Doesn't look like a female. Temporarily giving it.
Come on, take this. It'll help with your injuries.
Thank you. All of you.
Oh, okay. You're a
I feel
female something
much
boy.
better now. Thank goodness you're here. The garrison is up ahead. Are you heading there now?
Okay, we need quantum. Actually, let's go with this is that. Return fire might not necessarily be the best. Yeah, impossible to shoot shake with that. Nice! Hit the healing node, hit none.
Take this! Rise, Phoenix! Dodge this! What's in your prescription?
I'm trying to start the battle.
Gotcha.
Yeah, do half the help. What do you think? There we go. Look, it's chanting.
Want to see what I can do?
Oh, nice. She pinch it.
Wait for the toss.
Nice. Toss what? Toss it. Another group of enemies. Oh, puzzles. I'll do this later. Each are they secure? I guess I can secure the front entrance and I can secure this. Also, this music's like super desolate.
Who goes there? Show yourselves!
We're standing right in front of you.
Wait, it's you. Quickly, in here. It's dangerous outside.
Blue tongue saying blades.
You recognize us?
Are you not the General's guests? The Master Diviner prophesied your arrival. We were ordered to wait for you under any circumstances.
Wait.
Yes, the Master Diviner ordered us to remain stationed here and went to scout ahead. They're saying the disciples of Sanctus Medicus have returned. They haven't been seen for an age. The troops are anxious. It's good that you're here. The Master Diviner said the Knights weren't to move out until you arrived. Please wait in the camp. We'll decide on our next steps once the Master Diviner returns.
Raj. Is that the dude who does the owl's voice?
That the Cloud Knights received orders not to advance is a bad sign. The Disciples of Sanctus Medicus. I've heard the name before. If memory serves, they're an underground sect of the Abundance that's said to have lain dormant within the Xianzhou, plotting to overthrow the Alliance. The Stellaron has certainly caused Abundance-like abnormalities. Is that what motivated the Disciples to come out of the shadows? No. The Knight's main force remains intact. Something must have happened. Something we're not aware of. The Master Diviner isn't here. Let's head into camp and see what we can learn from the troops here.
Good idea. Why don't you take a look around, benefactors? My feet need a rest.
Your feet. Your character doesn't even painted on it.
Have you talked with these disciples, benefactor? What do you make of them?
No.
Why would they betray the Luofu? I don't understand.
They're tired of immortality. Because aren't they? Dragon tree. Talk. Huh.
Forgive me for being brief. Warfare is a dangerous business. There's no time for idle chat.
Yeah, as you're the third guy in the line of defense.
We took over this place a few hours ago under the Master Diviner's command. It was only afterwards that we learned our enemies were none other than the disciples of Sanctus Medicus, those who worship the Plague's author. Everything was going as planned. The sorcerers of the disciples and the fantastic creatures they commanded were no match for us. Then, after a while, our comrades suddenly started to slaughter one another.
That's great. Okay, Mars.
Curse it. What Sanctus Medicus sorcery did they use on us? The greatest fear of the Xianzhou people is succumbing to our Mara-struck form around others. To do so means that we have given up on being human, lost the abomination sleeping in our immortal blood, and violated the Rainbow's admonishments. What the disciples of Sanctus Medicus did are despicable acts that every Alliance resident detests. I swear to the Arbiter that I will avenge my comrades.
Jesus.
You want to ask questions? Fine. But I must be present the whole way through. This part needs to be recorded as testimony.
Finally, someone to talk to. These Cloud Knights are so serious, so boring.
I want to be the one to talk like that when the next step for you going from boring is having your head lopped clean off.
What did we do? We cured our kin. It must hurt to be trapped in such weak flesh and blood.
You scum! If the Order allowed, I would cut you down now.
Oh, you don't understand. A short-life species couldn't understand. Mara struck? Bah! It's a second life gifted by Sanctus Medicus to eliminate the self, to achieve transcendence, a life of true freedom. I see a desire for power in your eyes.
Sounds like these
This
people
life is
took
too short
their
for you,
fear of
isn't
death
it?
and warped into copium that they'll curse inside them.
I can help you.
Don't listen. His words are poison.
How can you help us?
We're just having fun,
Go
sir.
and take the medicine yourself.
Without the blessing of the abundance, you short-life species would never be able to endure the transformation. So, you witnessed it too? The Ambrosial Harbor's resurrection. Magnificent. In the Befall era, so far in the past that even long-life species cannot recall, Sanctus Medicus the Abundance gifted the Ambrosial Harbor to the Xianzhou Luofu. With that sacred tree, humanity realized many miracles. The fallow earth, the western soapberry, the altered flesh. But that devilish archer ruined everything. They twisted right and wrong and erased Sanctus Medicus's achievements. But soon we will return to the glory of the Befall era.
Watching restored order.
You've seen the fantastic creatures that fought with us. They are only minor gifts of the Ambrosial Harbor.
Shut it, rambling rodent. The Cloud Knights will root all of you out soon.
Or him doesn't wrote it. Goddamn fucking Metal Gear name.
That shining seed? I've seen it. So beautiful. If you gaze into it, there's a voice inside that speaks to you.
So I did plant a bomb.
Do you still remember Cocolia?
Yes.
The Master said we could inject new life into the Ambrosial Harbor with it. I didn't believe it at first. We tried many methods, spending multiple lifetimes of short-life species, yet the Arbor showed no signs of resurrection. But look upon it now. Only the power of an eon can recreate the miracle. Yes, the mighty Sanctus Medicus, the abundance.
Yeah, I got more questions. Damn, you have to use another Aeon's power? Eon's power?
Master Diviner, you're back.
I have kept you waiting, but the deceit of the disciples is laid bare to me now.
Yeah, Pete tells the whole truth this time. I know if we're gonna be fighting a war.
Apologies. To avoid dissemination of intelligence, the General and I kept the involvement of the disciples to ourselves. It is a clandestine organization that seeks to overthrow the Alliance. Before the Stellaron disaster, the disciples had remained veiled in shadow for years. Their emergence reflects their intricate connection to this calamity.
The conflict is difficult, Master Diviner, but you have led your forces from the front lines and beyond in pursuit of the enemy. Admirable work.
Hardly. A diviner must acquire first-hand knowledge in order to calculate the future. Collecting intelligence in this way assists me in achieving the right answer. Wait, what's all this about a difficult conflict? The disciples of Sanctus Medicus have been scheming for a long time, but our army is in no way inferior. How can things be so difficult?
Just ask us to help them.
It would seem you came prepared.
It seems you're beating around the bush.
The first time we met Madame Yukong, she said something like, "This is a Xianzhou affair, and there's no need for the Express to get involved."
Wait, why should you Yukong?
And now
you
here
and
we
the
are
rebels.
running around doing everything. Even the IPC takes it easier on us. Let me guess, what are we up to this time? Could it be heading to the front lines? Leading the Cloud Knight charge? Well, try this on for size. Nope! I can't stand any more of this fighting, so there.
Who said you'd be heading to the battlefield?
We're already in the battlefield.
We're not?
Jingyuan's orders. He said that the value of unexpected guests lies in the unexpected. The Cloud Knight's assault was to demonstrate our power to the enemy head-on. Now it is time for the unexpected. Please, come with me.
Great. We launch out in
After
solo
receiving
operation.
the Ambrosial
There, she
Harbor, the
run it.
Alchemy Commission was once the Luofu's most vital commission. After all, it was they who changed the Xianzhou natives into long-life species. But in the end, the alchemists grew discontented and began to obsess over the manipulation of life. Research into the Arbor poisoned their minds. The more they pursued it, the more they longed for it. Morning bells chime in a dream. Evening mist gathers around me. Do you see that?
What huge elixir crucibles. There's still smoke coming out of them.
This is where the alchemists practiced the way of immortality in ancient times. They erected elixir crucibles here to absorb the power of the Arbor, turning fantasy into reality. Since the smoke from the crucibles never ceases, this place was named Eve Mist Mansion. An elegant name, but as far as the art of war is concerned, it's a death trap. As long as the crucibles are lit and the smoke continues to linger, we cannot get any closer.
This is why the Cloud Knights lost control and became Mara-struck?
Indeed. The disciples of Sanctus Medicus infuse the smoke that permeates this delve with medicinal pellets that elicit Mara. Unless the Cloud Knights were able to march with their breath held, they would be doomed to fall into disarray. Moreover, no one can know whether their comrade was about to be stricken with Mara. Is there anything better than fear for destroying the morale of an army?
The Cloud Knights' first assault was just a cover. You're using the main army to attract the enemy's attention, while we douse the elixir crucibles and stop the smoke.
The disciples of Sanctus Medicus renounced their century of secrecy and chose to reveal themselves, meaning they feel confident of victory. But no matter how well prepared they may be, their focus has always been the Cloud Knights. They are completely unaware of your existence and capacity, and in short, cannot be prepared against you.
Well, they're not completely unaware, but for the most part, they don't know. I'm gonna get the Foxings and video horrors.
You misunderstand the nature of the Mara-struck condition. It is not a curse unique to humankind. Foxians don't usually succumb to it because their lifespan is not eternal. Yet they are still a long-life species. The Vidyadhara rely on molting to discard the old world. All long-life species are equal in the face of Mara. However, the disciples of Sanctus Medicus could never have guessed that the General would seek outside help. They won't be prepared against short-life species.
Is this what General Jingyuan meant by unexpected guests?
I wouldn't hazard a guess. All I can say is that the predictions of the Stellaron hunters were more accurate than mine. The future that Kafka seeks is becoming reality. One step at a time.
And what exactly does future does she seek? You want to tell us in detail what that is?
Rather, only this way leads to the known best result. If we can afford to choose, then none would choose to leap off a cliff. Besides, this is not my decision alone. The duty of the Master Diviner is to bring luck and avoid misfortune. I don't want my choice to plunge the Luofu into a terrible future. To return to the matter at hand, only you can douse the elixir crucibles without being harmed by them. What say you?
Fine. I didn't hear a please, but seeing as we do kinda have superpowers around here, Mr. Yang, what do you think?
I will come at once when the smoke dissipates. You won't be left to fend for yourselves.
We already offered to help and fight this war for them. And how we're like, yeah, okay, I guess we'll help. Listen, March, if you want to fight a war, sure, fine, don't. I guess if I talked to the dude first and then talked to Tingyun, I could have gotten a unique dialogue, but fucked it up. So. No unique Tingyun dialogue.
What? It's not too late to practice holding my breath. We're still far from the elixir crucibles. I'm no healer, but I do know that dosage is important in the application of poisons.
She's so serious, and then also, no problem.
Even so... Okay, I admit it. I'm terrified. I'm still young. I don't want to become Mara-struck so soon.
Your condition worse?
My fortune is fluctuating between the Marsh and Heaven trigrams. I can avert disaster by being decisive. So stop talking to me and distracting me.
Bro, what just happened?
I'll focus on keeping my sanity. The rest is up to you.
She bounces into like super serious and like a kid. Not a kid, or like, you know, like bratty.
Do you not trust me? If I told you I wasn't certain, would you turn back on the spot?
Do divination.
No need. Aside from divinations and calculations, my instincts are accurate too. Though I'm sure a little reassurance wouldn't hurt. You don't know what being Mara-struck actually means, do you?
No.
The healers believe that the Mara-struck condition is related to memories. Unsurprisingly, long-life species have long lifespans, but there is a limit to the brain's capacity. After centuries and millennia, a long-life species' emotional threshold becomes higher and higher. Simultaneously, their memories fade and become dull under the erosion of time, leaving behind only the most extreme and vivid recollections, which are almost guaranteed to be memories full of anguish and regret. Do you understand now? The fate of all long-life species is to no longer feel joy and happiness, left only with hatred and regret etched into the heart. Under such extreme conditions, a person's ego starts to crumble. And that is the beginning of the Mara-struck condition. Short-life species don't need to worry about this. Feel better?
Not really.
Phew, I do. I never had memories to begin with.
No, you still don't understand. The condition isn't caused by memories, but by the emotional threshold having been... Never mind. You can regard it as a memory issue.
Sound like you people guys aren't built different.
Only a handful of converted alchemists and healers. They can drive fantastic creatures into battle and strengthen their bodies with medicinal pellets. But they are no match for the Cloud Knights. That's why they decided to spread this demonic vapor. There is a gulf in strength between us, yet they still emerged into the open and rebelled. Something isn't right. They must be waiting for some shift in fortune.
Alright.
I will come at once when the crucibles are doused and the smoke
Yeah, I got it.
Huh. I feel like even though long-life species get to live forever, they aren't so different from us short-life species when it comes to worries and suffering.
Yeah, I don't think having a long life would make suffering any easier. Nice.
Oh, wait, Miss Tingyun! Why are you still here? You're too close to the crucible!
Thank you for the concern, but I'm fine. The General commanded me to stay with you. I dare not go against military orders.
Your life is more important, Miss Tingyun. Go back. We can explain to the General.
Head back. What the hell?
There's really no need. I've spent my years traveling the universe. Not to mention, I'm younger and stronger than I look. Even you benefactors have probably lived longer than me.
How old are you? That was it?
Seems like the smoke is getting thinner.
I have no idea what you film with.
No more playing nice. Dodge this! Take this! Shape of Taishu!
Shape of Taishu! Rise! Penis! This thing got to get the head like
Let me through!
There's zero reason for her to come like this. Like, at all.
Follow hook if you wanna win! You don't look so good. Choose who strike.
Why would she join us?
My turn.
I don't understand. She knows she's weak.
Time for mischief!
There's like zero reason
No more
for her to
playing
join
nice. Dodge this! Get it now? That's the power of the Cloud Knight. Want to see what I can do? You don't look so good. This! Rise, Phoenix!
Sorry, buddy. What's of a chance?
Wait for the tiles. Come on. You can still surrender! Here I come!
Associate with that one, buddy. hands hurt?
Choose me strike.
Damn, bro, homie got hit with a singular tile. Shattered his spine.
You get it now? That's the power of the Cloud Knights. Turn it off!
Whoops. Okay, you can turn it off. Why did you turn?
Let me through! Dodge this! You don't look so good! Wait for the tide.
These are the hell.
Gotcha, my turn. Look at the draw.
Normally I would do it. I probably should do the alt first, actually.
Victory! You can still surrender!
What the hell is it? 2 times alt?
Want to see what I can do?
You're so good. Well, that's straight to hell. Oh my god, there's more of you assholes. Oh. That bitch fine.
Let me through! Dodge this! You don't look so good! This! Shape of Titan Rise Phoenix! No more playing nice!
No more misses, nice fun. Toss 1. Toss 2. Toss 3. Toss 4. Life. Shadow. Oh, we do it twice. Welcome back. Damn, well, that's just gonna be a fucking boss fight I'm gonna need all my abilities.
We're on a roll. Yay, we did it! Can't see the smoke anymore. Excellent. I'll lead my troops to the rendezvous.
I should hold her about the entire time. What in the goddamn are you?
So, you succeeded in dousing the elixir cauldrons. Unimportant. The inevitable is already upon us.
She's not bad, though.
Don Shu. It's you.
That's Don Shu.
I've met you before in my capacity as Chief Alchemist, Master Diviner. You don't seem surprised.
Indeed. The General and I knew that the disciples of Sanctus Medicus must be hiding in the Alchemy Commission. However, without evidence, we couldn't bring charges before the commissions. We had to wait for you to show yourselves. And now, your charges are many. Drawing Stellaron spirits into the Xianzhou, resurrecting the Ambrosial Harbor, striking down our people with Mara. The 10 Lords Commission will address these transgressions during the reckoning.
Crimes? If I am guilty, then all of our Xianzhou ancestors are also guilty. They were the ones who accepted the blessings of the abundance and turned their descendants into long-life species. The disciples of Sanctus Medicus are only walking on the road our ancestors once took. How is it a crime to seek ascendance? In days of old, the roots of the Ambrosial Harbor enveloped the Xianzhou Luofu like a living creature. We controlled the stellar seas, and none could stand in our way. Everyone could become celestial and shift form at will. Divine miracles descended onto all 9 Xianzhou ships. What a glorious time that was.
I don't think that's real.
How far the Xianzhou has fallen. We consent to be commanded by the devilish archer. Suffer continuously at the hands of the denizens of abundance. And the Ten Lords Commission even forces us to give up our immortality. How pitiful. I do not blame you for your ignorance. We were not born in the era when the Ambrosial Harbor first descended, nor did we witness its miracles. But now, we now have an opportunity to restore the ancient laws.
Yeah, you were born in the times. How the fuck you know what the laws were?
Forgive me for thinking you might have harbored some profound enlightenment. Yours is the same old talk of those who seek power and give up on their humanity. Our Xianzhou ancestors fought side by side with the Arbiter, laid waste to the Arbor, and established the Ten Lords Commission to lay down the lines between life and death.
And she's
In
like,
doing so, we enshrined our future as human beings.
like she's like, he cherry-picked. They chose to follow the Arbor and take the gift. Yeah, they also chose to side with the fucking Arbiter and destroy it in the first place.
Celestials? There are no Celestials on the Xianzhou. The divine miracles of the abundance, the manipulation of life and death. Your deeds are nothing but evil.
I have nothing to say to you, Master Diviner. You have already made your decision. You have discarded power. A most foolish choice.
So it's all for power. How'd you also become like 8 feet tall? You were not that tall before.
Master Diviner, allow me to show you what the Celestials will be.
Celestial? This bitch thinks she's in Star Wars, you know?
You don't look so good.
Also, Whoa! I had my ult, that would be great. No, I didn't, so it's
Here I come!
visibly worthless. Those jump shots.
You're not going anywhere! Take this! Shape of Rise Venus! Dodge this!
I didn't see my
When they keep quiet,
Celestial.
Time for mischief! You bully!
God. No, man. I'm trying to do skill points down here. But I need to do something. Refresh. I have 2 very skill point hunters here.
Need a doctor? You're interesting!
wait for the tide.
Merciful Medicus, hear my
Oh my gosh, you have to jump him. What was that? She's weak to physical.
Dodge this! Take this! Shape Rise Venus!
There's an ad. Focus fire.
Choose when to strike. Come on. Look at the draw.
Don't you Ambrosial Harbor these nuts?
Victory! Time for mischief!
You're still alive? Drop dead.
immortality.
Let me through! What's in your prescription?
Windshield. Man, lost an accident.
Dodge this!
Wait for the tiles.
Quite hard on her.
Entangle.
Want to see what I can do?
Like, whatever the fuck they're doing. I just don't know what the hell that is.
This! Rise Venus!
Oh,
Let me tend your wounds!
awful time.
Tasty!
Punish me only on vines and veins!
Choose from strike.
Yeah, we have a lot of skill points
Pull me
stacked.
through. Dodge this. You
There
don't
we
look so good.
We'll skip the heal.
Nature Reaper!
Don't your hands hurt?
He's up here. He's up here. Top up.
Want to see what I can do?
To my heart's content!
Need a doctor?
All these units are pains in the ass to fight.
Dodge this! Take this! Rise, Phoenix!
She's
Let me
heavier
through!
break effect this unit.
Look at the draw, please. And
Alt with no time.
victory!
Hit 4. Shoot.
Why? She said... The Ambrosial Harbor's descent will bring us undying bodies. The one who gave us the Stellaron said that
Who was that? Who gave you the Stellaron? How did they get it here?
Pantilia, the disciples of Sanctus Medicus have fulfilled our promise. You, Lord Ravager, must do the same. Now, quickly.
Little pawn. Must you force me to intervene directly? I'm loath to flout my philosophy of destruction. Never mind. It would seem the time has come for other means of dismantling the Xianzhou from within. What a shame. It would have been nice to observe for a little longer. You received the gift of abundance.
Surely you can withstand the blessing of destruction.
Miss Tingyun!
Benefactors, allow me to reintroduce myself. I am Lord Ravager. Single purpose: to set in motion the self-destruction of the Xianzhou.
Miss
Broke her
Tingyun!
fucking neck,
The
bro.
Lord Ravager of the Antimatter Legion? But how can that be?
Ravager.
Keep calm, all of you! This is a formidable enemy. We have to stay together!
Having anti-matter legions here. Bro, all she needed was some good bit. Would have fixed her
You
skull.
don't look so good!
Now she's dead as hell.
Wait for the dice!
But I saved her and kept her alive.
My turn. No more playing nice. You don't look so good. Choose from strike.
You imaginary.
Fully. What's your prescription?
This thing is super squishy.
Here I come.
Whip Tinky.
Want to see what I can do?
Now you can hit the power of destruction. Snap that.
Dodge this!
Who gave up this damn Stellaron?
Let me through! Take this! Shape of Taishu!
Cancel, cancel, cancel. I need to my attack first.
Rise, Phoenix!
You're not gonna fucking cancel that.
You don't look so good. Wait for the tiles. Time for mischief.
Judo's on Lord or Avenger.
Want to see what I can
her
do?
being exposed to the
You're
fucking
not going anywhere.
gas. Oh, maybe she was.
Choose one strike.
You are fortunate that Zephyro and Selenova never set their gaze upon the Xianzhou. They have no qualms about dealing out destruction by the real hand. But since that stubborn general of yours has forced me to take center stage, I'll make sure I steal the show.
Wait for the tiles.
My apologies for leaving so soon, but I have an appointment to keep. I'm sure my friends here will be happy to entertain you.
Let me through.
Damn, I'll give her a ridiculous style.
Take this! Surprise Venus! Want to see what I can do? What's in your prescription?
I'll do your damage.
Dodge this! Choose one strike. Look at the draw. Please.
Look at that extra one time.
Victory!
Live from drop.
Let me through. Hands hurt. Wait for the tiles. Want to see what I can do?
Perfect. What else can you say?
Take this! Rise, Venus!
Oh, damn.
You're a good person! Here I come! Dodge this!
Love it. What's that? 600? Repair.
Choose one. Let me through!
Awful. Yeah, holding something like
Need a doctor?
Can't do it.
Dodge this! Take this! Rise, Venus!
There we go.
Wait, hold on a second. Are you really saying that Miss Tingyun was a member of the Antimatter Legion all along? And what was that fire that came out of her? And her body? Where did it go? Mr. Yang, you're smart. What happened just now?
I think you was a trade commission. She could have snuck in a Stellaron. Yeah, Mr. Yang. The fuck just happened?
The flame we witnessed claimed to be Lord Ravager Fantilia, a name I've heard other Nameless speak of in the past. She's one of 7 Lord Ravagers who serve Nanook, and finds pleasure in witnessing the self-destruction of mortals. She's led countless souls down a dark and hopeless path.
Meaning that Tingyun had long since fallen under the Lord Ravager's influence?
I don't believe so. Fantilia revels in watching a corrupted mind eating away its host from inside out, until the obliteration of both is achieved. But there was no indication that Tingyun had been misguided or manipulated. It's possible that the Tingyun we knew wasn't her true self, but an image Fantilia devised to serve her own purposes.
When did that happen?
You're saying that the real tingyun is still...
I'm sorry, March. I can't say with any certainty where the real tingyun may be, or at what point she was replaced by the imposter. Without knowing where the body vanished to, it'll be tough to get an answer. At this point, it's all just conjecture and hope. But if that body belonged to the real tingyun, it does raise the question of why Phantilia would go to such lengths to destroy any evidence of her. Wouldn't it be more in line with her destructive nature to leave Tingyun's remains behind as a display of power?
So when did we lose Tingyun?
I believe this to be Phantilia's goal. To sow seeds of doubt among us and ensnare us in a malevolent trap.
It's clear that the sudden resurgence of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus is all connected to the Lord Ravager. Pretending to be a Xianzhou citizen? Planting a Stellaron in the Luofu? All part of her plan to bring about our self-destruction. Phantilia is aiming for the Ambrosial Harbor. If she succeeds, the Luofu will be deprived of its roots, making its destruction all too easy. We must stop her. We need to take a star skiff to Scale Gorge Waterscape. The Ambrosial Harbor can be sealed from that delve. Let's make haste.
You wanna make haste? Okay. Oh, let's get the rocket.
That imposter had the audacity to carry out her nefarious plans right under our noses. How utterly despicable.
Look, it's destroyed landscapes.
What worries me more is just how many more antimatter saboteurs are at large.
Well, you knocked out the cult that's been around for the last 1,000 years, but now you gotta realize you had a bigger problem with the Antimatter Legion who's been there since the beginning of time. So, seeing you dead.
It all happened so suddenly. But looking back, I think Mr. Yang was right. Tingyun was behaving strangely. She was fascinated with the Abundance's creations.
Since she was an ambassador dispatched by the Skyfaring Commission, it's evident that there must indeed be a person with her name in the commission. We'll have to let the Cloud Knights get to the bottom of what happened to the real Tingyun. As for the Tingyun who accompanied us all that way, it's like what Mr. Yang said. Her appearance was designed to sow seeds of doubt among us. We cannot allow ourselves to fall into her trap.
So that Tingyun, from the start of when we land and she contacts us, all the way till now, has been a fake one. So the one that we use as a character in-game is a fake. Like, it's not even a real Foxy. Okay.
It is a delve governed by the Vidyadhara. Supposedly an ancient oceanic region transferred from the Vidyadhara home planet.
The transfer of
After the Ambrosial Harbor was broken in two during the war, its roots were left gnarled and broken. Yet it never died. The Alliance decided to seal the arbor within Scale Gorge Waterscape, entrust it to the High Elders of the Vidyadhara, and rely on the power of long scions to constrain it. It has been so long. No one knows whether the seal remains. Even if it does, I doubt it will hinder that spectral Lord Ravager.
Where's the general?
I've reported the current situation to the Seat of Divine Foresight. He made no further contact after we communicated at the Matrix of Prescience. He said he had important matters to personally attend to. The situation stands on the edge of a precipice. We must trust in the General.
I guess, bro. Something's more important than the entire spaceship being destroyed. Let's go.